My video on subtracting integers. Now, after watching the balloon video, now you will be able to make sense of the rules and the shortcuts that I'm going to go over now. So the rules for subtracting integers are add the opposite, in other words, change subtraction to addition. And change the sign of the second number. Okay, so we use keep, change, change. And the letters are KCC. So let's write that in parentheses, KCC. Okay, so if we were to do KCC here, let me write it again, KCC. It would look like this. We're not actually going to come up with the answer yet, but let's go -4, so we're going to keep. We're going to change subtraction to addition, and we're going to change the sign of the second number. Since the second number here is negative, we're going to change it to positive. You know, we can come up with the answer. So -4 plus 6. The signs are different, and we're adding, so we subtract and keep the sign of the most. So do we have more positives or more negatives? Good, we have more positives, so the answer is +2. Okay, so we are going to do KCC, and then we are going to follow our rules for adding integers. So let's look at this first example. We have a 6 minus -3. So we're going to do KCC, and it's going to change to 6 plus, and we're going to change this to its opposite, which is +3. So now we have 6 plus 3. And everybody, 6 plus 3 is 9. So, after we did KCC, what do? We just add and keep the answer positive. So all we have to do for subtraction is do KCC, and then we follow our addition rules. And it works because of what you learned on the video. So we have -10 minus 7. So once again, we're going to do KCC. So we're going to keep -10. We're going to change this to addition. And since the 7 is positive, we are now going to change it to negative. So I'm just going to put parentheses around it so that we can tell it's -7, not -7. So now we have 10 negatives plus 7 negatives. And that will give us what? 17 negatives. So what do we do here? We just add and keep the answer negative. Okay, now moving right along. So in both of those examples, once we did KCC, they changed to the same sign. Okay, now we're going to see what happens when they're different signs. So let's look here. So we have a negative minus a negative. So once again, KCC says keep -5, change to addition, and change to its opposite. So the opposite of -4 is +4. Now, the signs are different. So we subtract 5 minus 4 is 1. And we have more negatives, so the answer is negative 1. Now let's look at this example. We have 7 minus positive 15. So we're going to keep the 7. We're going to change subtraction to addition. And we're going to change 15 to its opposite. So the opposite of 15 is negative 15. Okay, once again, the signs are different. So we subtract. 15 minus 7 is 8. And we have more negatives, so the answer is negative 8. Okay, so now we are going to practice some together. Oh, but before we do that, let's just write down what we did for this one, sorry. We need to subtract and keep the sign of the most. So subtract and keep the sign of the most. And remember, we also said we're keeping the larger absolute value. Okay, now we're ready for some examples. So we have 12 examples down here. So let's look at the first one. We have 5 minus 2. Now some of you are like, well, I know 5 minus 2 already. It's 3, but let's just practice using the KCC because it still works. So keep the 5, change to addition, and change positive 2 to negative 2. And remember, when the signs are different, we subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3, and we're going to keep it positive 3. Why? Because there's more positives. Okay, number 2, KCC. So keep, change, and change negative 7 to its opposite, which is positive 7. And what's 6 plus 7? Good, 13. We just added it up and kept it positive. Number 3, KCC, so negative 3 plus, we're going to change 2 to negative 2. And 3 negatives plus 2 negatives is 5 negatives. I just added and kept it negative. Number 4, KCC. So keep the 8, change to addition, and change this positive 13 to negative 13. Now the signs are different, so we subtract. 13 minus 8 is 5, and we're going to keep it negative, so negative 5. Because we have more negatives. Number 5, we're going to KCC again, so keep negative 7, change subtraction to addition, and we're going to change the negative 7 to positive 7. Now the signs are different, so subtract. 7 minus 7 is 0. So if the answer is 0, we don't have to keep the sign of the most because they're exactly the same. And remember, 0 is neutral. It's not negative, it's not positive. Okay, moving right along. We have 6 minus 12, so KCC, 6 plus, we're going to change positive 12 to negative 12. And the signs are different, so we're going to subtract. 12 minus 6 is 6. And do I have more negatives or more positives? Good. I have more negatives, so it's going to be negative 6. Okay, number 7, negative 15 minus negative 7. Keep, change. The opposite of negative 7 is positive 7. The signs are different, so we're going to subtract. 15 minus 7 is 8. And do I have more negatives or more positives? Good. I have more negatives. So the answer is negative 8. And number 8, negative 15 minus 6. We're going to do KCC, so keep, change, and the opposite of 6 is negative 6. Okay, signs are the same, so just add it up. 15 plus 6 is 21, and I'm going to keep it negative 21 because they're all negative. Now, if you are comfortable at this point, go ahead and pause the video and do 9, 10, 11, and 12 on your own. Then turn the video back on, and you can fast forward to see if you got the correct answers. Okay, here we go. KCC, -3. Change to addition and change the 8 to -8. Signs are the same, so just add it up. And we're going to keep it negative because they're both negative. Okay, number 10, KCC, -10 plus the opposite of 12 is -12. Signs are the same, so just add it up. 10 plus 12 is 22, and I'm going to keep it negative because they're both negative. So -22. Number 11, KCC, 10 plus the opposite of -20 is 20. And the signs are the same, so just add it up. 10 plus 20 is 30. And the very last example, KCC, -10 plus the opposite of -15 is +15. Are the signs the same or different? They are different, so I subtract. 15 minus 10 is 5, and I have more positives, so the answer is +5. So if you're ever not sure what to do, whether you're adding or subtracting, just think of what the balloons were doing in the video. That concludes our notes on subtracting integers. I hope you have a great day.